it's Jana on I Am Present, and if you still don't know what I Am Present means, I encourage you to go watch my last video where I explain the triple entendre meaning of I Am Present. As we all know, Father's Day was about 2 months ago. It was on this day, this year, that I found out something about myself. As I was scrolling through my Facebook timeline and seeing all these amazing comments and statuses and posts about your amazing dad, I got a little salty. And I even got a little jealous. You see, I grew up with my dad not being in the picture. The first real conversation that I had with my dad was my junior year of college. And so I was sitting here reading all these amazing things that my friends had to say on their Facebook pages about their dads, and I couldn't think of anything to say about my dad. So I found myself in a little bit of a funk. And then I started to think about my friends and people all over the world whose dads may be off in the military, or maybe they died, or maybe they just come from a broken family like me. And I realized that this day where we celebrate dads is not a joyous occasion for all. And I began to think how unfair life was. And then I looked and I would read how some of my friends on Facebook would post about their husbands and how they're such amazing fathers to their kids. And I began to wonder, will there ever be an amazing father to our kids? Which was completely unfounded because I've never seen him be a horrible dad to our foster kids. He was a good dad to our foster kids. So you see, my past created these insecurities that were affecting my present. That's a video for another time. But anyway, I was allowing these things to become just inside of me, just fester up and bring me in a little bit of a funk. And then I started thinking about how things were unfair for those that are homeless or who are sick, or who just don't have it as good as other people. So I posted a status on Facebook just asking a question: why is it that life is filled with bliss for some and not for others? It was there that I was reminded that, well, things don't always look as great as they look on the outside, on the inside. But two, regardless of what we're going through, we're called to contentment. But how though? How can you be content in the middle of feeling yuck? So I went back to my original question, to my original dealing, and I thought, how can I be content with not having a dad? With not having a dad that I can give this amazing shout out to? And it was then that I was reminded of Psalm 68 verse 5, when God says that he is the father to the fatherless. That is how I needed to be content. I needed to rest in the truth that even though my earthly father was not there for me, that I have a good father who desires to be my father in heaven, and that he is a father to the fatherless. This reminds me of the verse in Jeremiah where it talks about how before we were born, God knew us. You see, me not having an earthly father does not make me any less equipped or less important than one of the people who posted on my Facebook timeline about how amazing their father is. It doesn't make a homeless person any less important or even less equipped than someone who's posting about this amazing vacation that they took. You see, he's the father to the fatherless. He desires to be our father, and he desires to do good within us. I've been reading Exodus lately, and honestly, I have seen things in this book that I've never seen before when I read it. So in Exodus chapters 1 through 3, it's talking about Moses' life, right? It's talking about how Moses was born, but he was born into the wrong family, and he ended up being found and being placed in royalty. And then one day, Moses is walking and he sees two men fighting, and he ends up killing one. And Pharaoh finds out, and so Moses begins to run for his life. But that's not where Moses' story ends. It's there when he is running for his life, when he is in this land that is not his own, that God begins to speak to him. You see, Moses went from riches to running, from riches to fleeing. He screwed up his life. He was in royalty, and then now he's running with nothing. But it's there when God spoke to him. So many times we think that because our life, we've done something, or because our life isn't going the way we want to, that God can no longer use us. We think that because we come from a broken home, or because we're not where we want to be, that God can't use us. Let Moses be a testament to you that he is a father to the fatherless, that he is a God to the wanderer, that he is a restorer to the broken. It doesn't matter where you come from. It doesn't matter if your earthly father is not there for you. We have a heavenly Father who desires to be the best father. So what do you do when you find yourself down because your earthly father has failed you? Well, one, you rest in God's truth. You rest in the fact that He is a father to the fatherless and that you are not without a dad, that you are not without someone who loves you in this world. So that's one. Two, you surround yourself with people. Get in a group of community that's going to remind you that even if your dad screwed up and does not do what he's supposed to do, that it doesn't make you any less of a person. That what he has done is not a reflection upon you. Three, you don't compare. Comparing can be something that is so tough. It was because of Facebook comparing that I got myself into this rut in the first place. And what's crazy is that I've even done a video on this, but I did tell you that it's something that I struggle with, and it's something that I continue to struggle with. If you haven't watched that video, I encourage you, go and watch it. I'll go ahead and paste it or whatever you do to it in the comments below so that you can click on it and watch it. So regardless of your standing with your earthly father, remember that you have a heavenly Father who loves you and desires to be with you. So until next time, remember that you don't have to be a product of your upbringing.